Well, hello everybody. Welcome to our little podcast, and we're for week 5, I believe it is, for the NFL, and we're going to get started with a college game in just a second. We got that Tennessee Texas A&M game, but first of all, I like to boing boing boing. I got grandkids up there in Buffalo, so every once in a while I fly back there and watch one of their games. And I think they've won 2 in a row. They beat the Jets and the Patriots.
Yep.
So nothing wrong with. There's never a bad day when you beat the Patriots. Whether you like the Patriots or not, it doesn't matter. I like that. Anyway, this week I've got my college Wise Guy Game of the Year. The smart money is all over this contest. It's the 35th year in Las Vegas handicapping for myself. I feel like I'm the senior Las Vegas handicapper that's managed to stick around for 35 years. I went 4-1 last week, had the big blowout, my Pac-12 Game of the Year on Washington, and also had a huge dog on Clemson that got the cash. So 2-0 in the colleges, so I look for another college high roller play. If you need that play, just hit subject matter Harvard, and I'll get right back to you. My high rollers for the last 2 years, which is a relevant number. What have you done for me lately number? Who cares about the last 35 years? Let's just talk about the last 2. 30 winners, 13 losers in the last 2 years, 70%. And when you look at, there's been 1,000 to 1,500 games played. This is 43 games, which is a really selective, exclusive group of games. I also have weekly and 4-week special packages I'm putting out. Even though you're winning on free plays here on this TV special, hey, you know what? You're leaving a ton of money on the table. Email me. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain. And I think I have a piece of crystal that says get it, bet it, and collect it. So that's basically what we're trying to do on, to help our fans out. This week, I'm going to be having whatever you need. Just make sure you email me and get on that Wise Game play. So now let's talk about the Tennessee Texas A&M. We've got Tennessee coming in at number 9. Texas A&M is number 10. A&M is favored by 6.5, 7, depending on when you look at it. Let's start with Tennessee. This group knows how to get down, and they also know how to get back up. I believe they were trailing Florida by 21-0. They were down to Georgia 17-0. They were down to Virginia Tech 14-0. They were down to Appalachian State 13-0. And what did they do? They won all 4 of those games. But Butch Jones must know how to kick some ass. But you know what? Before I give Butch Jones all the credit, let me say their coaching staff sucks. Their game plan sucks. You know what they do? They get it down, and then all of a sudden they say, all right, Joshua Dobbs, our great quarterback, put us back in the game, and we'll turn you loose, do whatever you got to do. Well, I think that timing right now, they got to have enough confidence to turn him loose in the first quarter, not in the second half. Also, Jalen Hurd, their running back, and Derek Bennett. This guy's a defensive end. He can take over the entire A&M backfield and disrupt everything. Now, on the other side of the coin, you got Texas A&M Aggies. They lead the SEC in tackles for a loss. So the Tennessee defensive front is going to have to play one of their best games. But what's the reward for that? A&M, the Aggies, they have a poor secondary. They have average passing game with Trevor Knight. And let's face it, if you can't make the quarterback rotation in Oklahoma, and you have to transfer out of Oklahoma, that doesn't say that you're a real proficient quarterback, and that's exactly where Trevor Knight came from, transferred from Oklahoma. Last week, A&M, they beat South Carolina, but you know what? They didn't do anything spectacular, 24-13. They're down 2 wide receivers for this game, so I'm going to be taking the +7 points. How do you see this game?
This one here, I wouldn't even break down the teams from an ATS standpoint. I would just look at the value. So we've got, obviously, Tennessee's been unraveled with what they've been with points so far this year. So odds makers have adjusted that. But let's look at Texas A&M. Like you said, last week against South Carolina, but the week prior against Arkansas, 7.5 point spread. And against UCLA earlier in the season, it was a 1 point spread. So why? The odds makers have already pretty much ruled out Tennessee's comeback wins, if you look at it. To make this a 7.5, 8 point spread on Texas A&M side doesn't make sense to me. And I think people are going to just look at that spread and inside Texas A&M, but you have to take the dog there, and that's just looking at the number. Sometimes you just got to look at the number, not even looking at teams.
So our consensus is
Tennessee.
we're both on the same side. Hey, that looks like a bet. If you want it from me, Zach and I, once we get our heads together, hey, 2 heads are better than 1. I tell you that. So, anyway, we're going to be moving on to the NFL. We'll talk to you in a few minutes.